2026 marks 35 years of Sonic the Hedgehog, and with the anniversary officially here, I found myself falling back into the gravity of the blue blur. I've been a Sonic fan since I was a kid, and while I'll admit I've always been a bit more of a Mario guy, my love for both has never faded. But I have a confession to make. As much as I call myself a Sonic fan, I've barely played any of the games. I mean, aside from messing around in Sonic Generations when I was little, I've basically just been a tourist. I hate to admit it, but I'm a bit of a poser. That ends here. That ends today. I'm here to fix my reputation. During the Steam Spring Sale, I finally picked up Sonic Origins, booted it up, sat down, and beat the game that started it all, Sonic the Hedgehog. So, let's actually see if I have what it takes to keep up. Let's get right into it. First up is Green Hill Zone, obviously. This is where it all started. Stepping into this level felt like I was stepping into a dream. It's so iconic that even though I've never played it myself, I felt like I already knew everything about it. It's arguably one of the most famous locations in gaming history itself. And do I even need to say anything about the soundtrack? But once I actually started moving, the quote-unquote nostalgia hit a wall. The physics. I've spent years watching people blast through these levels, especially Green Hill Zone. Playing it myself is a completely different story. Learning how Sonic actually carries momentum, and more importantly how he doesn't, was a bit of a wake-up call for me. For Green Hill, it wasn't that much of a deal breaker. I cruised through the first 3 acts and breezed past the first boss without breaking a sweat. But the real issues begin in the next zone. This level is where the real pain begins. We're talking death after death after death after... I should just shut up. Sonic feels so slippery to me. It's honestly so weird that in a game about maintaining speed, they decided to swap to this methodical, slow-paced platforming. Like, come on. I mean, half the time I feel like Sonic has butter on his shoes perpetually. I can never seem to land any of the jumps right. And don't get me started on some of the perfectly placed obstacles designed to just stop your momentum entirely. It reminds me of that one Miiverse post where the guy's like, who put this here? And they were making fun of him, but like, genuinely, why is any of this here? It's as if they want you to play it slow, and I just don't get that in a game about, going fast. Marble Zone was just the start of my torment. I could not seem to make any of these jumps, and it was just god-awful. The pain only continued from there, though. I did manage to scrape all the way through to Labyrinth Zone. Labyrinth Zone is by far one of the worst things I've ever had to play in my gaming history. If I ever decide to go back through Sonic 1 again, I'm going to dread this part the most. I genuinely am going to have nightmares about this zone.
Oh, good morning, Rupert. Please tell me you set the timer on the coffee maker, because I completely... You son of a bitch!
The shitty water mechanics drive me bonkers. As if the game's mechanics weren't already bad. They muck it up and make it worse by putting you in water. And I get that Sonic can't breathe or swim underwater, but could they make it so the big bubbles come up any faster? Half the time I ended up drowning right on top of one of the bubble vents. The only thing keeping me sane was the music, but even that turned on me. As soon as the drowning music started to play, I had an oh shit moment and just started fumbling my controller like I had butter on my hands. Don't get me started on the last act of this zone either.
Cause I'm having deja vu here.
This part of the game actually made me get up and take a break for a while. It was that bad. Why the hell was I given no opportunities to get rings before the quote-unquote boss fight? I don't even want to call this a boss fight. Look, I understand. I might just suck at games. And I also understand. It's an older title. They typically tend to be harder. That's how they made games back then. But what the hell were they thinking with some of this? I'm convinced that Eggman is just the spawn of Satan himself, and this is my perfectly curated hell to just keep me suffering. But that doesn't even begin to describe my pain. I'm deciding to skip over Starlight Zone because it wasn't nearly as bad as Labyrinth or the next zone, Scrap Brain. Again, who designed this? Every single act made me want to rip my own hair out, and it leads into one of the worst boss fights hands down the worst boss fight in the entire game. If I had actually managed to record my live mic audio, you'd hear exactly how frustrated I was. I just kept throwing myself at the wall, hoping something would work. The boss took me the most time out of any of them. I just hate it so much. The stupid purple orbs, the dumb hitboxes, the layout. I don't even have the words to describe my pain with this. But alas, I eventually beat it, and with that, my journey through Sonic the Hedgehog is over. Overall, I'm very happy I took the time out of my day to sit down and finally play through and beat a Sonic game. Now I can't be considered a LARPer anymore, I hope. Despite its shortcomings, it's a very charming and unique game. I love the art design and of course the soundtrack. This laid the foundations for one of the biggest franchises ever, and it certainly earns the spot it dug out for itself in gaming history. Now, if you liked the video, please subscribe so I can afford to buy more games to beat for the first time.